What is going on? Happy Thursday. It is Halloween day. About 5 minutes ago, I said to myself, maybe I should dress up for a Halloween edition of Hobby Evolution. Looks like I have something, a little red mark right there. And then I realized quickly, I don't have anything to wear for Halloween. I don't even have like a goofy, like leisure suit anymore. Back in the day, in my radio days, we always did dress up type bullshit. Halloween, we would dress up. So I always had like random shit that I could wear for Halloween. Like, oh, I could just wear this that I wore to some wacky radio event. But I don't have that anymore. And I might still have a purple suit. My wife donated a lot of my goofy ass shit to Goodwill, but I think the purple suit might still be around. But yeah, I don't have anything. And I have never really been have you been a Halloween dresser upper? Like I've never, like even going back to my childhood, I dressed up for Halloween and trick or treated, but it was always like, and maybe this was, influenced from my parents because my parents were not holiday-y people. Like they didn't do, we handed out, took me trick or treating and then hand out candy for, after I was old, but Christmas, a Christmas tree and that's about it. That's about it. Like no Christmas lights, no wacky decorations for any holiday. So maybe that's why it's just, my parents were never big holiday people. So I am not either. But yeah, like I remember dressing up as a kid, my mom would take me to Walmart and okay, here's what you have to choose from. And, we were not crafty people. We were certainly not making, fancy, like giant baseball card cutout, we were not crafty. So I went in every year. I loved Friday the 13th as a child. I'm probably on they're probably in my personal file at Anawan grade school. There's Thompson, Bo, future serial killer, is dressed as Jason Voorhees 3 years in a row. He's in second grade. So yeah, I went as Jason Voorhees with a bloody hockey mask as like a second grader. In today, but that was okay in the 80s and early 90s. Like today, we've gotten soft. Like, oh, you can't do that. That's weird. You're gonna be a serial killer if you dress like that. If you play, actually, the video game thing came a long time ago. Like, oh, you can't play killing video games or you're gonna grow up to be a killer. So yeah, I was Jason Voorhees. That's like all I remember. And the only reason I remember kindergarten is because we have like a giant, or not a giant, but like we have a photo of like the whole class dressed. And I think I was Inspector Gadget. Now that I think of it, I think I dressed as Inspector Gadget. But other than that, and then, once you get out of trick-or-treating age, I don't think I ever dressed up. And then there was a phase like in your college years where you do it. I don't even know if I did. I would dress up, like when I worked in radio, I would dress up as, like I would wear like leisure suits, but like in like June, like not at Halloween. Like, is this Halloween? No, it's just a random Saturday night. Here I am in a powder blue leisure suit. So here we are. Happy Halloween. We will be handing out candy tonight. Our neighborhood gets a ton of trick-or-treaters. Even more than my old neighborhood. In my old neighborhood, and it's funny because my old neighborhood was like children central. Like every other house had like a family of 5, it seemed. Whereas here it's a lot of, there's kids in the neighborhood, but it's a lot of like older, where the kids are out of school and young adults or adults. Like neighbors over on this side, they're retired. Neighbor on this side has the death metal band in his basement every Wednesday night. But his parents are snowbirds. They're in Florida. So we're handing out candy and we're handing out candy and cards. I did, and I mentioned this. I did go pick up score a treat packs of Pokemon, football, basketball. So we're gonna see. What do you think? What do you think? Tonight is trick or treat night, and I'm gonna have basketball, football, Pokemon. What do you think runs out first? I'm gonna say my guess is Pokemon. I'm gonna guess Pokemon because I think Pokemon is more to like the trick or treat age kids. Like they're more into Pokemon. And like maybe the older kids, they'll be like, those packs suck. Where's your flawless and national treasures packs? Yeah, everybody in the chat saying Pokemon. I think Pokemon too. I'm with you. Bill, Philly Joe, Jordan all say Pokemon. What packs are going to run out first? My wife ran to Costco yesterday to get the giant bags of candy. She got 2 bags. Last year we had we completely ran out, but we ran out like right at the end of trick or treating. Like I think my buddy Mark brought his daughter over. They trick or treat in like his mom's neighborhood, and so they swung by our house afterwards, and we had like I think we had 2. He has 3 kids, and I'm like, shit, dude, we only have 2 pieces of candy left, but like he only had 1 kid with him. Like 2 of them are kind of old. Well, one's in high school now. So I didn't, so he would have been in 8th grade. So I guess that was, you're probably not trick-or-treating in 8th grade. And then his other son, I think he's too cool. He's too cool for trick-or-treating. And but he's still kind of, I think, in trick-or-treating age. So we ran out. We had one bag because we would get 2 bags in our old neighborhood. It's like, we did get a lot of trick-or-treaters, but still not as many as here. Like we would still, I don't even know if we would go through one whole bag. Like we would return a bag or take it to like, I think my wife would take it to the office. Sometimes I would take mine to the office. So we're handing out candy and cards. So my wife brings home 2 bags and I'm like, 2 bags? It's like, well, we ran out of 1 bag. Like, okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. It's better to have too many than not enough. And that goes with baseball cards in your basement too. It's better to have too many than not enough. So happy Halloween. So yeah, my day is basically going to be, I burned the midnight oil. Midnight meaning Eastern time. But I haven't stayed up till 11 p.m. in a long time. I was up till 11 listing. Check out my eBay store for new Allen and Ginter. We will talk about Allen and Ginter. I'll give you a little review. I opened 12 hobby boxes, a full case. Many of those hits and even some base cards listed in my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Check it out. Buy 7 or more at regular price. You'll save 25% off at checkout. If you are looking for like the base, whether you're looking for players or teams, I've got 1 through 199 listed currently. I still need to sort in post cards 200 through I think 350. Hopefully the checklist gets uploaded to Card Dealer Pro today. It was still not up. But they did. It was like it was a tease because they had like the box toppers at one point yesterday afternoon. So I'm like, okay, so that's a good sign. So it's probably coming soon. So yeah, I'll give you my thoughts on Allen and Ginter, and I'll tell you from a reselling standpoint, my thoughts compared to the last case I opened, which was back in 2021. So I'll share with you that. So head over to my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Check out what I have listed so far. I think I've got all the hits. I still need to list, like I said, 200 through 350 on the base cards. Most all of the minis, most all of the chrome, most all of the foil filigrees, all the inserts. I did get the box toppers. I got all the relics and autos listed. A couple of the inactions that I pulled, the rip card, the already ripped card that I did live here on this channel yesterday afternoon. So happy Halloween. We'll talk Alan and Ginter. Let's go say hi to the chat. George is in the house. What's going on? Good evening to George. Mr. Archer, good morning to you. Bill Simus in the house. What's happening? Dave Arnold, Bushnell's in the house. Happy Halloweeny. Happy Halloween to the Bushnell Prairie City Spartans. Andy Max here. What's going on? Good morning. Herman, what's up? Good morning. MV free. Yes. How about that? The Dodgers pull it off last night. And you know what? I actually watched most of last night's World Series game. I watched more of the World Series this year than I had anticipated. I anticipated watching zero of the World Series just because I typically don't watch the World Series if the Chicago Cubs are not playing in it, which has only come once in my lifetime. But I did have it on last night, and I think I went because it was late, right? I might have turned it off before. I said I was up till 11, but I guess I wasn't. I might have went to bed. I probably was up till 11, but I had gone to bed and was not watching the World Series. But I think it was in the ninth inning, but it was still like it was in the ninth inning and I was getting ready and it's like to go to bed. It's like 10:30. I'm like, Jesus. But I remember staying up till like 1 a.m. when the Cubs playoff run in 2016. But anyway, congratulations, Herman's guy, Freddie Freeman, and the Los Angeles Dodgers win the World Series. When I found out the Dodgers won, I looked it up this morning and I saw the Dodgers won. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just glad. The Yankees extended the series. The Yankees extended the series. Now it's like, let's move on. Let's move on. It's Halloween. It's October 31st. Let's just move on. And I'm kind of looking forward to it because now we can focus on 2025. Teams can start tendering contracts, I think, in 5 days. So it's like 5 days after the last game of the World Series, which so would be October 30th. So I don't know if that's business days, though. But if not, let's see, 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, November 4th. Yes, I had to count on my fingers. The months trick my head, trick my mind trick. So the Dodgers win the World Series, and I'm okay with it. I was rooting for the Yankees, but it's like, you know what? The Dodgers really dominated. Yankees won a game. Did they win one or two? Did they win 2 games? Was it 4-2? Yeah, I think it might have been 4-2. But anyway, Dodgers win. Time to move on. Focus on 2025. Next year is here. David, good morning. What's going on? Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning to you. Scott is here. What's happening? Happy Halloween. You know, I've got a group chat with my high school friends. And one of my friends was just like, I don't know if she was day drinking or what, but like yesterday, there was a barrage of text messages of just, let's see, there might even be more. Oh, nope, that's a different group chat. Here it is. Like screenshots of the music she was listening to. Our Lady Peace, The Flaming Lips, Marcy Playground, The Toadies. And said there's something about the fall that makes 90s music come back to life. So it got me thinking, and this time of year definitely reminds me of, Scott says, Halloween. Reminds me of Hellbilly Deluxe by Rob Zombie, which the album came out, I think in October of 98, 97, 98. I was either my junior year in high school. But like, dig through the ditches and burn through the witches. And like that takes me back. Oh man, takes me back to Halloween, 1998, sitting on the porch with my buddies, hanging out, and probably talking about toilet papering our teacher's house. I don't know. But it just reminds me of Hellbilly Deluxe this time of year. Where are we at? George says the hoodie has you looking like you dressed up as a sports card dad, a sports card dog dad, maybe. Ernie was having a hell of a good time at doggy daycare yesterday. Again, we were talking last night, and I told my wife, I'm like, I can probably watch him tomorrow, being today, Thursday, um, because he's been 3 straight days. And I assume since I'll be gone, through the weekend, I assume you're going to take him on Friday. And she's like, well, he can go. He can go. My wife's like, he can go every day. Like, she's like, do you feel guilty? And I'm like, a little bit, like, but at the same time, I feel guilt. And she's like, have you've watched him? Like, he's in the middle of all the dogs every day, playing and living his best life. I'm like, okay, that's a good point. Now I feel bad for like keeping him at home when he can be playing and frolicking with all of his friends. Okay, he'll go back to doggy daycare. And he's much better behaved when he gets home because he's so tired, because he probably spent all day misbehaving and getting into shenanigans with other dogs at doggy daycare. Where are we at? Porter's in the house, and we pay for it. Like we're on the plant. We can take him anytime. Like, we are paying for it. So might as well utilize it. Porter, what's going on? Good morning. Victor's in the house. Good morning. T206 kids in the house. Wish me luck. About to go into work, not wearing a costume. So it's going to be a day of customer questions why I'm not dressed up. I did the same thing. Even my when I worked in like a normal office, because radio is not normal. Then that's why I said it like that. Radio is not normal. Like, it's just, well, you got to dress up for Halloween, even though you're on radio. Like, you're dressing up for Halloween on the radio. It doesn't make sense. So I like, it's like, dress up. And the company I worked for had like, it'd be like national, I don't know, national something day. We'll wear red or ugly Christmas sweater day. And I did partake in ugly Christmas sweater day a couple times. That I think that might've been the only day I, participated in. But yeah, I never dressed up for Halloween. It's like, no. But also, like, going back to my original statement, like, I've just never been a Halloween dresser upper. I had a friend when I worked in radio. I had a friend who, like, he started planning next Halloween like November 1st. Like, it's like, okay. And he looked like what's the actor's name? I'm giving you a lot of information here. The actor's name, he goes from being heavy set to like skinny, much like my friend. Like, goes from heavy set to like the chunky kid hair. Jonah. His name's Jonah something. And then was it Super Bad where he carried the like detergent? So my buddy looked just like him. Jonah Hill, is that his name? Looked just like him. And so he's like, I'm gonna go. And I think it was Super Bad where he carried the detergent bottle. So what does my buddy do? He actually buys a detergent bottle and like uses it and then like washes it out. Like, he had planned this like months and months, probably a year in advance. And so the laundry detergent he used, he's like, I'm going to use this and I'm going to put beer in this detergent bottle. Don't do that. He found out quickly, like, ugh. Like, as much as you can wash out a detergent bottle, your beer is going to taste like detergent. It's just, so he's like, he sucked it up like a few swigs and he's like, oh, this is terrible. Like, yeah, you dumbass. It's a fucking laundry detergent bottle. There was a whole gallon of laundry detergent in there. You think you're going to wash that out? So he was big into Halloween, and I'm just like, I'm not going to dress up at Halloween. I'd go to dress up Halloween parties, not dressed up. Oh, well, how come you're not dressed up? Because it's stupid. I think it's stupid. John says, remember a few years ago when people were advocating dressing up as your favorite athlete to go to card shows? I do vaguely remember that. And I thought, that's kind of silly. I mean, but I think it was because like with Fanatics Fest, they want Fanatics Fest to be more along the lines of Comic-Con. But sports card collectors are not like Comic-Con type deals. Like, you go and sports card customers, they're not going to shower or wear deodorant, and their clothes might smell a little bit. And we don't care. We accept that in the sports card community with the clothespin on our nose. Yeah, but that's just not. And You're just not going to get sports card people to dress up as your favorite athlete. Like sports people that's just not what you do. You don't do, what do you call it when you play dress up? Whatever it is. Like that's just not a thing in sports cards. John says, I'm reading lips. Happy Halloween. Gundy's in the house. Good morning. Cooter's here. Good morning. You need to bring your own mushroom coffee as Cooter's Motor Lodge only serves Kirkland's brand. I will accept Kirkland's brand coffee. I will drink Kirkland's coffee or Bucky's coffee or whatever gas station is on the way to Dallas. I could handle. John says, will you be repacking junk wax era cards to hand out? No, absolutely not. And I respect that. I respect that when people do hand out cards, whether they're junk wax or modern. I respect that. It's a great way to get rid of cards. But I just don't want to waste. I just don't want to, not necessarily waste, but to me, it would just be wasting time. Like somebody commented like, well, it's not a new thing. I've been doing that forever, like repacking cards. And it's like, yeah, but I don't want to do that. Like, I thought it was great that Panini did this, score a treat box packs. They're not really boxes, but because I don't have to do any work. The only work I had to do was tape a Madison Card Show business card on the pack, and I'll put it in a bowl. Here, kids, take some cards. And I didn't have to sort through cards. But I respect if somebody wants to do that and put them together. It can be therapeutic. Like I'm sorting cards and I'm putting together, because I do put like repacks together and hand them out to kids at spring training or at Cubs convention. And that's fun. It's fun. It's like I'm passing on my part of my collection to hopefully other kid collectors or future collectors. Maybe they get these cards and like, oh, these are cool. I'm going to go buy more. Or I'm going to go buy some. But I get it. But I just don't want to do it for Halloween. Like, hey, these are already like tailored to Halloween. Perfect. It's not like trick or treat kids aren't like the Pelican. I assume they're not the Pelican case kids that, although they're getting younger and younger, they're not going door to door trick or treating because they're a little older than that. But the trick or treater kids, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care if it's a Pokemon score a treat pack or if it's just random Pokemon cards from your own collection or from, whatever. They'll take the repacks. They'll take the score treat packs. Because it's not like the score treat packs are like, you're not finding autos. You're not finding like expensive cards in there. They're probably worth even less than your junk wax cards that you would repack. But save some work for me. If so, don't forget they're free net to me. T206 Kid says, me and my wife are passing out bags of chips. Candy got too expensive. Going to rain here in Louisville all day, so it will probably affect trick-or-treating. We got a lot of rain yesterday, and like I timed it perfectly because I was I was right here, right in this chair, and I was listing Ginter, and all of a sudden I thought I heard, and it was real cloud. It was basically yesterday, 2 days ago, October 29th, it was like a summer day. It was like sunny and 80. And then yesterday, it was still warm yesterday. It was in the 70s yesterday, but it was like overcast. The trees are like leaves have fallen off the trees. It looks like Halloween. And today it's cloudy. It rained all night last night. It looks like Halloween. And like as a kid, it always seemed to rain on Halloween. We had 3 or 4 years ago, we had 8 inches of snow on Halloween. Like on Halloween afternoon, it started snowing and we got 8 inches that night. Not in the forecast. I think it's still supposed to be somewhat warm today, warm by Halloween standards. Usually it's like cold and rainy. But it looks like Halloween outside. I don't know if it's supposed to rain. I haven't looked at the forecast, but if it does rain, obviously that will, affect trick or treating in your neck of the woods. Looks like it's going to rain today. It looks like we're going to be rain free tonight, though. It's going to be at trick or treating. It's going to be in the mid 40s. So that's kind of how I remember trick or treating. Cold and dreary and damp. Sports card ripping teacher in the house. Happy Halloween. I'm Gru, and the other teachers are the minions. Today won't be bad, but tomorrow, consider giving your child's teacher a K-cup as encouragement. John says, have you ever seen your neighbor's parents? It's possible the son is collecting the Social Security checks and using the old snowbird excuse. No, I have seen them. They actually just went back to Florida. They come back for the summer. They were here and they left. It's been a few weeks, but they were just there. Let's see. Sports card ripping teacher says Pokemon, not even close on the. I got football, basketball, Pokemon, score a treat packs. What's gonna go first? The consensus is Pokemon. That's my vote as well. Sports card ripping teacher says it's gonna be Pokemon, not even close. John says candy is the same price it was compared to the last year, according to the large bars available at Costco. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. My wife got the candy last night. I assume the Costco candy has not gone up. If it has, not very much. David, Pokemon first, football second. I don't know. I wonder if basketball, because that's what I was thinking. Like, I've got to get Pokemon, got to get football, and then I'm like, wait, some kids like basketball. Like, basketball seems to be big with kids. We'll see. I probably would vote football second also. Like, when it comes down to, I think football second. We'll see. John says the price has not changed. Happy Halloween. Michael Renicke's in the house. John says, I'm handing out fallen leaves this evening as a gift from Mother Nature. Happy Halloween. Hope the kids appreciate it. Bill Simon says, I still have to go to the store and get candy. My wife texted me yesterday afternoon. She's like, did you happen to go to Costco today? And I'm like, I haven't left the basement today. I've been knee deep in Allen and Ginter. So she stopped over, got some candy. Johnny Boy Cards, good morning. John says, I've seen the hits between you and Mike O's rip. It's rather underwhelming. No. Let's talk about it. Looks like we've got some Allen and Ginter chat going on. So I would say no, not underwhelming. I think my case is actually pretty good, much better than my case in 2021. Not as good as some of the other cases I've bought in previous releases. But I pulled a Daddy Yankee autograph. I'm not sure what there's no others on eBay, so I'm not sure what the comps. Yesterday was release day, so there's not too many comps on anything. So I just price it high and start fishing for offers. So I got a Daddy Yankee auto. My baseball autos were underwhelming. It was like who did I get? Alex Spiess, CJ Abrams is a decent auto. But nothing, no big autos. I did pull a mini medal of Luis Matos of the Giants. And those are, I think, they're not serial numbered, but I think there's only 3. I think the print run is 3. They're like 1 in like 65,000 packs, something crazy. So that's a big hit. I pulled 2 rip cards, a double rip numbered to 50, I think, of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette. That is on eBay. The other rip card was Emmett Sheehan of the Dodgers, number to 199. That's an absolute. You got to rip that. We did videos here on my channel. The rip was inside was a Luis Robert mini SP. And those mini SPs go for decent, usually depending on the player, $20 to $40, somewhere in that vicinity. Let's see. I pulled a Pete Alonso orange chrome refractor, number to 25. Let's see. What else? I pulled 2 inactions, and those are actually, I think the Bobby Witt already sold for $15. Let's see. Paul Skeens. I pulled a Paul Skeens refractor that sold for 30, and Ellie De La Cruz mini chrome that sold for 15 already. So I think those were my big hits. Obviously you're going to get a lot of napkin relics. You're going to get, crappy autos. I think I got more autos than I think I ended up getting 6 autos, which is 1 every 2 boxes, which normally I think maybe I got 1 more auto than what's normal. But I would say my case was I was pretty happy with it. It wasn't crazy, but it wasn't. I wouldn't call it underwhelming either. I thought it was a good case. I'll make money. I should make money on it. I did lose money on my case in 2021, but I think it was just because I think many reasons. I think the timing of it. I wasn't selling as. I mean, I was selling a lot in 2021, but I wasn't. I wasn't obviously doing this full time at that point. I was pretty much scaling, I guess, was it 2021? It might have been 2020, my last case. It might have been 2020 because I think it was smack dab in COVID. And by the summer of 2021, we were kind of out of it. So I think it was 2020 that I bought a case of Ginter. Let's see. John says, if you have a little time, then you can wait until 2029 when the checklist gets uploaded to the Beckett OPG. Andy, great question here. Do you scan the minis? This is why the minis are typically last. No, because there's not a way to scan the minis. I think the only way I could scan the minis would be to put them in top loaders. And that's by the time I put all the minis in top loaders, I could probably list them by my phone faster than what it would take to scan, because obviously top loaders take longer to scan than raw cards. I got to take the time to put them in top loaders. So it probably would take me even more time to scan them than it would just to be listing them. So I did list a couple already, but they were like the bigger, rookies or, chrome refractors or whatever, superstars. I think there's a Freddie Freeman mini chrome that I put on eBay. Let's see. Eric says, any tips for shipping box loaders or oversized cards? You could send them ESE in a, in like a 5x7, envelope, like a postcard envelope. Just make sure you put the right postage on there. It'd probably be at least 2 ounces, if not 3 ounces for that size. I typically price mine and sell and ship them in a bubble mailer. And so what I do is I will just sandwich the top loader, the box loader in cardboard, and then stick it in a bubble mailer. And I hope that people buy more than one, because most of mine are listed for like $10, free shipping. So that's how I handle it. You could get like a larger postcard size envelope and send it as long as it's not like as long as it's not a rigid envelope, send it that way. I would be a little, because then you have to get you can't protect it as well. So I would stick to bubble mailers. I wouldn't recommend sending it ESE on the box loaders just because of the protection angle, because you're not going to have them protected unless you put cardboard, and then you're going to have too rigid and it's probably going to be kicked back. So I would stick to bubble mailers on the box loaders. Johnny M says, morning, got an Ellie De La Cruz Larkin double rip of 50. It's up to $86 on eBay in 12 hours. My case is due in this morning. Going to be a busy 2 days before I go away. I know I'm in the same boat. I've got to really hammer down today because I fly out first thing tomorrow morning. So that's why I was burning the midnight oil last night, trying to get as much listed as I could and try to get more stuff listed today and get as much shipped as I can before heading out of town. That's a nice hit. That's a bigger hit than mine. My double rip was Vladdy Jr. and Bo Bichette of 50. I thought about putting mine at a 24-hour auction. I think that's a great way to do it. 24-hour auction on some of these bigger hits. The problem was last night would be tonight, and I'm not going to be shipping tomorrow. I'm going to be on a plane. So that kind of held me back from doing 24-hour auctions on some of my big hits. Where we at? T206 Kid says, woke up this morning to mini Freddie Freeman sales on eBay. Can't beat that. Can't beat that at all. Double A cards in the house. Good morning. Mark Marinello, glorious morning to you. The sun is shining, not here. Sun is shining where Mark is. The birds are singing. I always have a big basket of candy for the kids who come into my store. Happy Halloween. John says, I watched one highlight from last night's game. It was where the Dodgers scored the first run and the first baseman couldn't be bothered running 10 feet to first base to make the putout. Baseball sucks. Orlando is here. What's going on? Good morning. John says, where did Bitcoin and Dogecoin go? Flawed Thinker says, good morning. Was hoping the series would go to 7 in the hopes that Ohtani would pitch. Where are we at? 4-1 was the series. 4-1. Okay. For some reason, I thought the Yankees won a game in there, but I guess not. 4-1. Ninja Squirrel, what's going on? Love the photo there. Just say I don't do public math. The narrative that the Yankees built instead of buying their team has been adorable. John says, listen to Number of the Beast if you want to listen to creepy music, or Diary of a Madman from Ozzy, you little snowflakes. You'll shit your pants. I probably have listened to that stuff. George says, how dare you, John? The Yankees have never bought a team and never will. Max says, Zombie is top tier. Hey, Max and I agree on something. Amen. Mikey, good morning. Mikey is here. His sales have dipped to only a few cards a day. Is there anything I can do? I'm advertising at 10%. Can you check out my store and give me suggestions for people that see my store? The answer is typically always make sure you're listing cards that are selling, liquid cards. You know, Freddie Freeman. If you have any Freddie Freemans laying around, get them listed right now. List cards that are liquid and make sure they're priced competitively. Those are number 1 and number 2, or 1A and 1B of why your sales have dipped. It's usually what you have listed and what your price is. So take a look at those and you might find your answer. Joe Caprino, what is your strategy when getting a couple $100 hit in a new product? I've gotten some offers, but want to get as much as I can for the card. So this is a great question. And I've had this go both ways in whatever I do. The number one most important thing is sell fast, because that price on a new product, Allen and Ginter, every day that goes by, hell, every hour that goes by, that price is going to come down a little bit each hour, and you want to maximize. So if you want to truly maximize, I'd run a 24-hour auction, and you may not maximize that way. You may not get, but here's the problem that lies with, it's more of a psychology thing on the buy it now side, because you've got some offers, but you want to get as much as you can. What tends to happen, and I've been guilty of this with Allen and Ginter, in fact, where you want to maximize and you take some offers. It's like, but you get greedy. And it's like, well, I think I can get more. I want to maximize what I can get for this. I think I can get more. I think I can get more. And all of a sudden, as the price comes down, your offers come down. And you might have turned down, say it's a $200 card, and you're like, I think I can get $200 for this. Your best offer came in at $150, and you're like, no, I think I can get $200 for this. And all of a sudden, you counter. Maybe you counter at $200, and that guy ghosts you. That's usually what happens. You get ghosted. And then all of a sudden, your next offer comes in at $130. It's like, nope. And now your price, you're like, okay, I was probably high. I'll come down to $175. You counter at $175, and your $130 guy, he ghosts you. And now it's like, okay, I had an offer. Now your mindset is, okay, that first offer was $150. I should have taken it. My price is $150. More time goes by. Now your best offer comes in at $120. It's like, shit. Okay, I'll counter at $150. And he turns you down. And now it's like, you could have got $150 for it. Now you might get $80 for it because you've wasted too much time. So, and I'm not saying that's how your mindset is, but that can lead to that scenario. If you really want to maximize, because I have done that before. multiple times where it's like, nope, I think my card is worth this much. And it was not worth that much. It might have been worth that much at one point to one person, but that person never came along. And I lost I lost money by holding out for more, and more never came. Less and less came. So if you want to avoid the infighting of your brain, put it at a 24-hour auction. Just make sure you time it right. You know, if you haven't done so yet, wait till tonight, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and throw that sucker on a 24-hour auction and just let her ride. And you may be disappointed. And that's the thing with new product, and big hits and new products are hot potatoes. And that's the mindset you have to just accept, that, you know, I've got some cards that I've got from yesterday's rip that I priced them high. I know they're not going to sell for that much, and my goal is to just fish for offers, and you know, we'll see what comes along. If they're, but there's other cases where I had another insert that I had was, I think I only pulled one of these. It's a scratch and sniff. I think I only pulled one, and I had it listed for $15. And I shouldn't say a case hit because there's many case hits, but only like one per case, I guess, on this. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a case hit, but I had this scratch and sniff grass card, and like right away, I took some offers. And I think I had two, before I went to bed last night, I had two offers. One was $8, one was $9. And I'm like, well, I could take the $9 offer. I'm like, let's just sleep on it. And guess what? I woke up and it sold for full price, $15. So my mindset when it comes to the hot potato products and some of the cards that I have offers on, I'm going to let that 24 hours go. When are people looking for Allen and Ginter? It just released right now. Next week, there's going to be a lot less people. So looking for these cards. So I kind of use the 24-hour rule. If I get offers coming in, and I may not even accept them, even if I don't get a second offer in that 24-hour time span. Let me see, just for an example. Let's go to my eBay here. Oh, it's 8 o'clock already. Oh, I was late today. I'm like, geez, I didn't realize we've been going almost 45 minutes. eBay is so fucking slow on this computer. I don't know why. Oh, hey, but since I have you here, since I'm here, I'm going to look to see how many listings I have, because it is the last day of the month. If you go to your eBay summary and you go all the way down under promotional offers, it will show you. So I have 2,175 listings to use, free listings to use this month. Free insertions. And I only have 510 ending today, and probably some of those are auctions. So I basically still have 1,500 listings to work with on a monthly basis. So I'm not going to go over again this month. All right. So we want to see some of my offers. I'll let this load, and then we'll just share the screen so you can see. Come on. I don't know why it's so slow on this computer. Like, my eBay is not this slow on my shitty computer. All right. So let's share my screen. So these are items that have offers. So let's just go to the highest one. So I've got an Aaron Judge mini framed relic, Derek Jeter relic, Frank Thomas mini frame relic, Barry Larkin mini frame relic, Mookie Betts. It looks like they're all jerseys that have offers. Owen White foil filigree gold to 50, and then a George Brett that probably won't accept that. And then I've got some like base down here that they're probably dollar offers that I'll just ignore. So let's go to Aaron Judge. This one's priced. I have a buy it now price of $25. And this is a reasonable offer, $17.50. There's 15 hours and 15 minutes left. I'm just going to let this offer sit until the end of the day. So 15 hours, that's like 11 p.m. tonight. So at some point tonight, if this doesn't sell at full price in 1750, I think that might be 25%. And I think 25% is a fair offer. Rate something down real quick. All right, so where are we at? Let's see. It's a little less. It's a little less than 25%, but kind of 25% is kind of my gauge. Like after 24 hours, if it's within 25%, because I assume, well, if somebody comes in and buys 7, which a lot of times on a new product, when you open a case, you're going to have somebody interested in 7 or more items, and they're going to get 25% off. So if I can get an offer that's within 25%, typically I accept it. Although I will sit on some of those just because sometimes. Where we at? John says, when you filled out your dog daycare application, did you fudge some of the answers? I don't even think there was an application. Basically, you just take your dog in. They interview the dog. I don't know what Ernie said to them, but it worked. And they do, like, I think some behavioral trick, like before they put him in with the rest of the population before they put him in with general pop, they bring in like a behavioral dog, like a dog that's, works well with others. And then they go, oh, he worked well. Let's go put him in like general pop and then see how he fares. Okay, he's good to go. Bring him on in. Jonah Hill was the correct answer. Yes, Jonah Hill. Give me the point. John gets a point. Mikey says, my girlfriend loves Halloween. It's her favorite holiday, and she's staying the night tonight and wants to get spooky. Ooh, spooky. A little pleasure spray spooky. She said whatever that means, she won't tell me. Oh, Mikey. Yeah. Mikey's getting spooky tonight. John says, the Jonah Hill story might be the most horrible story ever told on Hobby Evolution. Is there a writer's strike? Max says, why would anyone think that'd be okay? Buy a plain container and make a detergent sticker to put on it, right? I'm sure the idea came when he was drunk and we were in our early 20s. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Like, come on, man. Porter says, she's going to put a hurting on you, Mikey. She's going to get spooky. Mikey says, that sounds painful. I don't like getting hurt. Okay. Ask her to take it easy on you. We can get spooky. Be gentle. Billy Joe says, Mikey is going to be having a Freaky Friday. Let's go. A Diddy freak off. Tiger727 says, I never got into Halloween either. Not my thing. Good. I'm not the only one. Brian, good morning. It's the Yu-Gi-Oh card collectors that stank. Max says, Halloween sucks and it's weird. I like Halloween. I don't think it sucks. I just don't role play. Yeah, role play. Cosplay. Sorry, John. David is going to get the point. It's cosplay. Cosplay is the word I was looking for. Cosplay. Brian says, they're probably the same thing, but cosplay was the word I was seeking. Why do we accept smelly sports card people? I always shower before I go to a show. Is there a way we can tactfully let people know they stink? I don't know if there's a tactful way to do it, but you could just be blunt, like, dude, or just hand him some soap. Like, here, can you put this deodorant on? Or just go around and spray cologne. Although that's even worse. When you spray cologne on like body, I remember, and this is from spring break 2001. We hadn't showered in a couple days. There was like, how many of us? 6 of us. 6 dudes in a conversion van driving from Florida back to Illinois. It was like 90 degrees. We're like sweating our balls off and just stank. And I think we had like gone into probably a Waffle House and had breakfast. We get back into the van and it stunk so bad. Like, oh. So then we had the great idea to spray cologne throughout the van. And that just made it worse. That just made it stink like a combination of, it's like when you spray potpourri in after you take a smelly dump, like it just smells like shitty flowers. Like it's actually worse because the smell of potpourri is awful. The smell of your rank ass shit is also awful. And put them together, it's doubly awful. So we broke down. Our wheel fell off driving 70 miles an hour down the probably 80 miles an hour down the interstate. I was the wheelman. I glided the conversion van to the side of the road. It was the back, it was the rear passenger side wheel. The entire wheel with axle came off 80 miles an hour down Interstate 80 near Princeton, Illinois, and pulled off on the side of the interstate. Truck driver pulls up in front of us, comes back. He goes, you guys lost a tire? like, no shit. We saw the spark. I think we lost more than a tire. We saw some sparks flying out of the back of the van. So we had to take it into the shop. Well, my buddy's parents took it into the shop, and they're like, what the heck? That is a smell that I've never smelled before. It was absolutely awful. Well, that was Michael Jordan cologne and 2 days of 6 stinky college guys that were sweating their asses off in Florida. Orlando says sports card people wear a team cap, a jersey. That's Halloween. That's true. Mark Marinello has his uniform, his card show uniform. That's what it is. A jersey and a hat. Mikey says, can anyone tell me anything I can do to improve my store? John says, a good host will make sure their guests has what they need to feel comfortable. Repacks are a great idea for Halloween. John says, how many minutes behind are we? Oh, shit. We're like 30 minutes behind. Orlando, go to the next card show dressed as Patrick Waugh. Let me know how much you had. Johnny M says, I hate the A&G minis. Got to lock them all together in one listing as an auction. It goes where it goes. I am considering doing that. Since I am running more auctions, I am considering lotting up like, here's the base minis, here's the A&G back minis. I just might do that, and I probably will wait till next week to do that. I'll pull, Paul Skeens, rookie, Ellie De La Cruz. I'll pull that stuff, but just some of the common stuff I'll lot up. Halloween isn't meant to be therapeutic, and no one wants Jim Gantner cards. Too many people doing what makes themselves feel better instead of working towards a better society. Religion is a great example of that. That's actually a really good point. Like, it annoys me to no end. Hey, it's actually turning a little brighter outside. It's still cloudy, but it's not dark anymore. Anyway, it annoys me to no end when I see somebody that is in a Facebook group or on Twitter or wherever it might be. I want to get rid of these cards. And it's like, how do I sell 1988 Donruss? Take them to a children's hospital. Yeah, just what somebody in a children's hospital wants to look at. 1988 Donruss. Like, come on. Like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that, especially a child who was born 30 years later. And like, who's Jim Gantner? I've never heard of this guy. Like, you don't want that shit. And yeah, like it makes us feel good. I'm getting rid of cards to give to kids. The kids don't want your junk wax. They want Freddie Freeman and Aaron Judge and all those Giancarlo Stanton. Johnny M says, we give out candy and Beanie Babies since we inherited about 500 beanies. The kids love them, even the older kids. Interesting. George says, I heard 17-year-olds were buying and getting Wemby boxes CT scanned and then listing them on eBay when the hits were shit. John Meyer says, dressing up as a naughty sport card collector, I'll be trimming candy wrappers and replacing the score treat cards with school flashcards in the packs. The naughty. Is that still a thing? Like when I was in college, like there was this wave of the college girls dressed up as like, I'm a slutty teacher, or I'm a slutty taxi driver. It's like just to dress up scantily clad. That was just a thing back in the early 2000s. I don't know if that's still a thing. Dress up as a slutty sports card collector with belly shirts. Orlando's laughing at John. Sports card ripping teacher says you would be amazed what simple cards mean for kids, excluding the ones with the metal briefcases, and they're fine too. John says nothing goes together more on Halloween than soggy junk wax era packs. There you go. Tracy, good morning. Brian, hoops will go. Oh, Brian. Wow. Brian, gonna buck the trend here. Everybody else saying Pokemon first. Brian saying basketball gonna go first. I'm saying Pokemon goes first. I'm gonna say football goes second. So we'll see. We'll count it tonight. I will count at the end of the night. If there's any left, I will count. Okay. And I'll keep track of if they all go, Pokemon went first, whatever went second, whatever went first, whatever it might be. So we'll see. And I'll let you, actually, I won't let you know tomorrow. You'll have to remind me on Saturday on the drive to Dallas. Pokemon would go quick if handing out. Look at the target audience. Absolutely. Baseball requires higher math to fully enjoy these days, and protractors. Do they still use protractors in school? Sports card ripping teacher says the kids will like some of the players for football and basketball, but those fools will like every single one of those Pokemon characters. Michael says, I should hand out political postcard ads. I think I threw 12 ads out last night, straight from the mailbox to the trash can. Yep, same here. Just dumping it right in with the weekly shopper. Max says, amen, Mike, can't wait till Wednesday. Absolutely. I'm tired of the texts, the calls, the postcards, the social media. Orlando says, other rip cards sucked. So a rip is solely based on rarity, and the player is an afterthought. Got it. Great times. If we're talking about the Allen and Ginter rip cards, I think the resale value is kind of dependent on the rarity and the player. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a bad card out of a shitty player or low or high serial number player. Like you could pull, one of my friends pulled a Pete Crow Armstrong mini SP that's worth more than, and it's just the mini SP, not autographed, not anything. It's just the mini short print, but it's likely worth more than what the unripped rip card of Curtis Mead was. So it doesn't always necessarily correlate to what's in there. Typically it brings higher demand. The better the card, the better the player on the rip card is, the lower the serial number, the higher the value. Kind of like with any card, really, but doesn't necessarily correlate to what's inside the rip card. Mikey doesn't really like Halloween growing up, especially because it was cold. What should I dress up as tonight for my girlfriend? I don't know. How about what John said? How about whatever John said, sports card collector. TT boy, says Porter. Max says, looking at your eBay, I would also agree with John that underwhelming is a good description of your case. See, I thought it was great. I thought it was a great case. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. John says, wear your birthday suit, Mikey. The chick absolutely go crazy for that. A G-stringed Chippendale. Ooh, there you go. I use invitation envelopes for bigger cards. I chop up cereal box type cardboard to protect. That's a good way. That gives it but the same amount of protection as like a card saver would. So that's a good idea. You are welcome, Eric. John says another way to protect is larger top loaders. Chop the three sides that are fused off so the card is still protected yet flexible. Flawed Thinker says reading this ESPN article about where Soto may go and the price teams are willing to pay is hurting my head. Yeah. And as a Cubs fan, I realize the Cubs are not going to pay that kind of money for Juan Soto, what he will command and what other teams will pay. Johnny M says, Mikey, I would suggest putting team names in the listing title. John says, Mikey, give away $1 million a day. Buy customers. It's all the rage. You got to spend money to make money. There you go. Red lights in the house. Good morning. John says, that's the FTM risk. The slow lane of the hobby leads to less risk, less urgency, fewer decisions. Cooter says, I miss the days when people ripped wax. The quality of the box was based on how many cards they got that they needed for their set, back when it was actually a hobby. It hasn't been a hobby in like 40 years. But I get your drift. I get your drift. I thought my Ginter case, I mean, from an enjoyment, I got great enjoyment. I feel that I got great value out of it from both enjoying it as fast as I could, but also I think I'll get. When I started the show this morning, I had already made Now this is gross. $176.50 in sales, and I just started listing at like 5 p.m. last night. So in about 12 hours time, I had sold $176.50 in Allen and Ginter from my case. Let's see. And have I sold any more? Just a couple, just like a onesie card. So another 350 to that. So 177, $180. So as of right now, I've done $180 in gross sales from my Ginter. And that's basically, I think the highest sale was maybe $30, the Paul Skeens. Couple of $15 sales, nothing big. None of the big cards have any offers yet. So that means they're probably really overpriced, but we'll see. I'll go through the day, maybe adjust some pricing, see if any others have come to market. But I still think I will, I'll make money on the case. What was my all-in price? Was right around $1,500. Obviously it's a lot of work. It's a grind to get all of these listed and, multiple quantity sales and all that, but we'll see. Max says selling a fresh rip, in my opinion, is dependent on getting your big hits up early, but also want to follow those with bigger name base cards, leave the mid-end time-consuming stuff for last. I somewhat agree with that. So I sort so here's how I tackled the Allen and Ginter case. So I ripped everything, but I also sorted I sorted, here's the jerseys, here's the inserts. Like as I'm going through each pack, okay, here's the minis go in their own pile. Here's a chrome goes in their own pile. Here's an insert goes in its own pile. And then I sort by tens on the floor, got my spread, and rinse and repeat. I like to get the base up because I have a lot of team buyers, player buyers, and I can move a lot of quantity. And I was pulling between 3 and 5 cards per player. So I went ahead and I did, I think, cards 1 through 199. And then I sort those out. And then I take one, here's my stack of cards 1 through 199. These are just the singles that I scan through. Takes a little longer because the checklist is not yet in Trading Card or Card Dealer Pro. Hopefully later today it will be. If not, I'm typing it out. It is time consuming, but it's like waves of sales. Yes, it's waves of sales coming in $1.75 portions. But you can, 200 cards. This is about between 600 and 700 quantity. So I can get a lot of quantity up, but it is time consuming. So, but I did take that, I got those up, want to get that out of the way. And then I listed last night all of the most of the hits, autographs, box toppers, short prints, jersey relics, chrome rookies. And then after I wrap up here, I'll go back in. I'm going to go through the minis and the chrome just to see if I missed anything that I can, sell for $5 or more. And then I'll start finish the base 200 through 350. So kind of along that wavelength, but just a little bit different where I did start with some of the base and then I went to, but it was still, it was still pretty fast. I think I got the base listed by 6 p.m. I think by 6 p.m. And it took me about 3 hours to rip. And I ripped everything. I took a break for lunch. My case actually came a lot earlier than expected. I think it came around 10:30, 11 o'clock. So I was able to get a jump start. I didn't expect it to come until around 1. So it did come a couple hours early. So it did buy me an extra 2 hours and especially when you're on a time crunch, like how time consuming it is just to get this stuff up and listed. Max says, make your money off the drip of base though. And that's where, and yeah, you'll get, especially over the next couple days, once I get everything listed, I'll make the money off the base. Like, you're welcome. You're welcome, Joe. I'll get to Joe's comment here in a second. I'll finish this thought. But I'll make a majority of the money off the base. Like a majority of the money. You know, the highest priced listed card I have is, I think, $350. And it won't sell for that. You know, I've got a couple listed for that. We've got some more sales coming in. Any Ginter? Man, I tell you what, Ryan Sandberg cards are selling like crazy. I am selling like, my sell-through rate on Sandbergs is insane. Sold a bunch of Sandbergs just now. Joe Caprino says, thanks for the explanation. Also, how do you ship the relics? This I do, but I would not recommend. I know some people do. They use the more rigid envelopes. You can do that. Some people do it and have success with it. I'm not comfortable doing that. So that's up to your discretion. Some people do have success with it. I ship my relics in bubble mailers, so they're priced accordingly. I think my relics are like $10, and you know, a lot of these are dollar napkin patches that they're not going to sell for $10. So, but that's just the way it is. So that's how I ship my relics. Orlando says, take the offer, judge lost. That's a good point. And $17.50 is a strong offer on a $25 listing. Good morning, Uncle Rich. I'll be seeing you on Saturday. Brian says, spooky is an unplanned pregnancy, LOL. Rich says, let's see what her costume is. Oh, Uncle Rich, down boy. Max says, that makes it worse, though the detergent thing was junior high school. I ship relics in a paperboard mailer from eBay. Cooter says, Uncle Rich, did you see my DM I sent you in Twitter? See you Saturday. Rich says, when Gloria Rothstein promoted her first show back in the day, she had no real idea about baseball card dealers. She was used to coin dealers who did not have to lug in heavy stuff. Oh, yeah. Max says, still trying to figure out how people can go an entire day without showering. I don't get it either. I'll take a shower before doing yard work. And then I'll take a shower after doing yard work. And I'm not a clean freak. Like I just feel like I can't start my day without taking a shower. And then if I go and do dirty work, which is very rare, but from time to time, I've been known to do some yard work. I'll take a shower afterwards. Rich says, and of course, the customers are not always the people who take showers either. You are correct. FYI from Johnny, if you tell stinky people that they smell like the gerbil in their ass died, you may end up in a fight. That's a risk you take. And the problem is, if you tell somebody they smell, you could get punched. That's more likely than them saying, oh, thank you, I'm going to go home and take a shower. Or, oh, thank you, I'm going to go put some deodorant on. That's very unlikely to happen. It's likely to happen. You might get punched. Rich says, so the night of the first show, after all the dealers left, she put bars of Dial soap on every dealer's chairs and created new rules like strongly suggesting all dealers dress business casual. How do you think that would go? The Madison Card Show, you've got to dress business casual. You've got to have collared shirts. You can wear jeans, but they've no holes. That would be funny. Let's see. Uncle Rich has not checked his DMs. The last DM I got from you was on the 27th. Have you sent an updated one? Angela, Steph's wife, and one of my ComC teammates loves A&G Minis. Merle, good morning. Looking forward to seeing updates from the road this weekend. It all starts tomorrow morning. Max says, give me all your minis. I'll be buying in a week or two. Merle says, don't know why. You can't be more like Jeff Wilson and rip from 30,000 feet. Yep, not going to be ripping from the plane. Brian says, they did at my card show, but you never know. Cooter says, it amazes me what people donate to Goodwill to feel better about themselves. Take, for instance, ugly ass, out of date 10-year-old second date sweaters. Nobody wants that. Some of that will sell around Christmas for ugly Christmas sweaters. Merle says, Pokemon will go first at my house. I only bought hoops. Max says, Justin, FYI, for you non-Pokemon folk, the trick-or-treat packs are straight trash. There's actual value in the sports stuff. Oh, I didn't even know there was actual value in the sports stuff. Brian says, Max is correct, and that's why the kids took the hoops. Interesting. We'll see how trick-or-treaters go. But I'm guessing, Brian, at the show, it's going to be a more... Even the kid clientele is going to be a little more exposed to trading cards, where trick-or-treaters, they're just going to be like, oh, Pokemon cards. Because I'm assuming like trick-or-treaters are going to be younger than what the kids were at a card show. Now, I'm sure there's some that, took the Pokemon or maybe took the hoops that were of the younger generation. But I still think Pokemon's going to go first. Jody, good morning. George says, so you're saying the Pokemon are the 88 Donruss. There you go. Merle says, I bought 2 cases or packs. I just call them packs of the Hoops trick-or-treat cards. Ripped and listed ones, still have one to hand out. Because they're not really boxes. But they're packs. There's like boxes of packs of packs, I guess. I don't know. Actually, the Pokemon are the candy corn of cards. Orlando likes candy corn. Great video, George, on the Ty Cobb. Max says, doing it your way, you should make money on every case, no matter what, saying the hits were well below average. From a historical standpoint, I didn't pull a $400 or $500 card, but I'm trying to think back on all of my cases. I've probably ripped, let's see, 2016 was my first case of Ginter. I ripped 2 in 2017. I think 2018 might have been the last case until 2020. 2020, I did not pull. I think 2020, my biggest hit was like $100. Maybe not even that. I think I might have sold the card for $100 out of a whole case in 2020. I should get a couple $100 plus sales out of this case. Maybe 3. Trying to think of what I have listed. 2016 and 2017 both yielded $400 to $500 hits. Well, I got greedy on the Griffey, the booklet. Should have gone for 400, but ended up selling for 300. And then the Megalodon, I think, sold for like 450. But I would say this case of Ginter was from my, again, a pretty small sample size, but enough to, I think, get a good gauge over the years. I've opened 3, 4, 5. This was probably the 6th Ginter case of 5 years, of a 5 different years, 5 different products. And this was average. This was probably, I would rank it in value, probably number 3, probably the 3rd in value of the 6 cases I've ripped. It's right in the middle, George says, appreciate it, Orlando. It just happened to pop up on my news this morning. Max says, I like candy corn too. One of the only good things about Halloween. I am not a candy corn hater. I'm not gonna, like, if there's candy corn, like, oh, okay, I'll eat it. I'm not a hater. Brian says, Max, what holiday do you like? Arbor Day. Merle says, mixing the candy corn with roasted peanuts. That actually doesn't sound too bad. That sounds kind of good. Max says, Thanksgiving, Christmas is over commercialized now. The national is my holiday. Christmas, the holiday itself is not even like, it's great. But I like the season. The Christmas season. From like a pure day of holiday, Thanksgiving is my favorite. From a day of standpoint, Thanksgiving is my favorite. And then probably Christmas. But then after that, it's like I don't do holidays. Like I don't do like Halloween's cool. Maybe Halloween would be third. Uh, but just because there's no like Memorial Day, like uh, 4th of July, Labor Day, Flag Day, Arbor Day, and the reason I like Thanksgiving is because it's like the beginning of the Christmas, like the official beginning, the unofficial official beginning of Christmas season. And there's great basketball games on the week of Thanksgiving. It's more festive. Thanksgiving and the weekend of Thanksgiving, which is why I love having the Madison Card Show on the Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend. It's so festive. I feel it's more festive than actual Christmas. George saw a tweet saying the only people who like candy corn probably also ate crayons and erasers as kids and liked the taste. I fall into that. Like I'm not going to say I'm not going to go out and buy candy corn, but if there's candy corn in front of me, I'll eat it. And it's not that I guess I like it because I'll eat it, right? I don't dislike it. Max does strike me as a eating glue kid. Max was eating the glue. I'll never forget Jay. I can probably say his name. Jay Blackert was in my class. What did we call him? Bordeaux? What the hell did we call Jay? Bordeaux? Anyway, Jay was the kid that ate glue. Second grade. I'll never forget. I still have this like burned in my memory. Jay Blackard in second grade eating fucking like a whole bottle of glue. And I just remember him turning around like a serial killer with glue. Just like, it might have been like the kid in front of him probably said, "Hey, Jay, I dare you to eat this glue." And he did. And like, he just downed a fucking bottle of Elmer's and like turns around and like looks behind. And he's just got glue, like all over his fucking face. Like, what the hell, man? That dude from Duryea. People want to buy Sandberg card from the 1 million Cubs guy. You created a brand. That's pretty cool if that's the case. Max says, on my way to buy too much sealed Pokemon right now. Good luck in the second worst state in the union this weekend. Which one? Grinding for good. Happy Halloween. Johnny M says, I ship the relics in an Armalope envelope, long as it's not more than a 1/4 inch thick. Suit up, says Merle. Orlando says, I pissed off Sandberg fans, did a video on must-have cards of the 80s. Left off Sandberg, got roasted in the comments. I don't blame you, Orlando. Like, even as a diehard Cubs fan, like, the Sandberg rookies, and maybe it's just because I have a bunch of them, like, they never wielded power to me in terms of like 80 must-have cards. Like, I don't think any of the Ryan Sandberg rookies would be on my top 10 list of 80s cards. Baseball. 86 rated rookie Jose Canseco. 89 upper deck Ken Griffey Jr. 85 tops McGuire. 82 Ripken. 80 Ricky Henderson. Like, there's so many that I hold in higher esteem. And I guess if you do like the traded sets, like, then he's dead. Like, maybe Sandberg would sneak in like the bottom of my top 10 cards of the 80s if you're only talking mainstream sets. But if you throw in traded sets, like, there's no way. Mattingly, like, I would put both the Donruss and Topps Mattingly rookies ahead of Sandberg. And then if you throw in the traded sets, like, I don't even know if Sandberg would make my top 20. And I'm with you, Orlando. I would leave him off my list too. Rich says, Cooter, Goodwill stores are apparently sizzling hot among the youth of today. Is Cooter sliding into Uncle Rich's DMs? I think so. I think Cooter slide into those DMs. Our Goodwill started promoting Halloween costumes around July 5th. Stuke's in the house. Hope to see some of you in Dallas this weekend. Safe and pleasant travel. Stuke, I hope to meet you on Saturday. Max says Halloween is for drunks and elementary aged kids. You are 100% accurate. That is exactly what Halloween is for. It's for 20-something drunks and kids, little kids. And then the rest of us just put up with the bullshit. Orlando, I agree with you 100% on this one. Valentine's Day is the worst. Valentine's Day. I hate Valentine's Day. I agree. And then even worse than Valentine's Day are the stupid made up Hallmark holidays. Like it's National Sweetest Day. Like what the fuck is Sweetest Day? Like it's the same thing as Valentine's Day. You're just trying to sell more cards, Hallmark. Good marketing. Merle says the purple crayons taste the best. Have to jump on some work calls. See you guys from I-35 on Saturday. Cooter and Bo on the road. Candy corn and mini pumpkins. Ooh, yeah. I do like the mini pumpkins. I'm probably going to eat some candy tonight. Sugar Rush. Bought 3 of the 2003 Donruss Studio Michael Tucker cards yesterday. Classic cards. I don't know if I'm familiar. I'll have to look that up. Merle was influenced. Texas, California, untouchable at 1. Where we at? Merle says, can't see you from this end of 35. 84 Donruss Mattingly should have been your first reference, says Dan. Clemens 84 Fleer rookie is one I have not owned, and that's a expensive one too. The 84 Fleer update Clemens. That's I actually pulled in I think it was a Goodwill pallet. I pulled out an 84 Fleer update Roger Clemens, and I'm like, I probably had the same reaction as pulling the Trout. And guess what? The Clemens was, like one of the worst fakes I've ever seen. Like I saw it, and as soon as I picked it up, I'm like, oh my God, this is faker than a $3 bill. Super fake card. I'm just going to throw it away because I don't want it to get out in the wild because it could trick people just by looking at it. Like if you held it in your hand, you're like, oh, this is fake. All righty. That's what I had for today. I'm going to make some mushroom coffee. I've got a whole bunch of Allen and Ginter still to list. Hit up my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more at regular price. You'll save 25% off at checkout. Base cards 1 through 199 are listed. All of the hits are listed. I'm going to be sorting cards 200 through 350. I'll try to get the chrome, foil filigree, inserts, and minis all listed today as well. And I've got to get some shipping done as well. I'll be no Hobby Evolution tomorrow. I'll be on a flight this time tomorrow morning on the way to Oklahoma City, hanging out with Cooter. We'll be driving down to Dallas to the Dallas Card Show Saturday morning. So we'll pop on. We'll go live from Interstate 35, cruise into Dallas on Saturday morning. Follow me on Twitter. I'll provide some updates from the Dallas Card Show, what I think my first trip down there to the Dallas Card Show, and tell you what I think and what I find. Most importantly, what I buy. So, and then no Hobby Evolution Sunday morning. And then Monday morning, we'll be back from this location at 7 a.m. Central. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Be on the lookout in my eBay store, 99centcards.com, for more Allen and Ginter from this week's new release. I will see you from Cooter's car on Saturday morning.